Happy Monday, knitters. It's Louise here from Wildflower Wool, and welcome back to my channel. You'll find me here every Monday showing you what I am casting on to knit for this brand new week. So before I show you what I'm casting on this week, let me show you how I made out with my projects from last week. I'm pretty sure I showed you a finished dishcloth last week, so this is my first dishcloth for 2020. First, hopefully, a 52. And I finished this one. This one was the, I think I just had a cast on. There. This is the side. I wove my tails in there, so I better show you the right side. So this was it's more of a pot holder. I'm going to call these ones pot holders, and I really like the feel of this. Now this pattern, it's not more of a recipe, but I am going to just type it up and I'll let you guys know when it's available so that if you want to make one of these for yourself to give them a try, either as a dishcloth or a pot holder, it'll be available for you. So this was 2 balls. That was the Handy Crafter Poppy and the Dishy in the colorway Ash. Daisy's trying to say hi. She noticed she knocked the tripod once or twice here. So she may jump up and make an appearance. So anyways, this guy is done. So 2 weeks into January, and I have 2 finished dishcloths for my dishcloth challenge with the yarn hoarder for this year. So I'm feeling very organized. Is that the word I want? Organized and on track. 2 weeks, 2 dishcloths. The other project I was working on was that one color brioche. So Wildflower Wool this month is kind of highlighting, putting brioche in the spotlight, and last week was about one color brioche. So when I started this little scarf, I think little as in skinny, I should say. It's hopefully going to be nice and long to wrap around, but look how long it is. And look at that, I just started that hot pink color. One full color, another color, and there is the beginning, just like that. And I think I had just started my second color when I showed this to you last week. So I'm pretty happy with how much I've got done on this. One color brioche. I am knitting it on a circular needle, but that is just because that's what I have. One color brioche, you can knit on straight needles. If you've done brioche in the past, you know when you're doing 2 color, you have to have it on a circular needle, but that's not the case for one color. You can do it on a straight needle if that's what you have. So this, I'm pretty happy with it. This is my TV knitting. Just relax, just work away, and I don't know. On one hand, I like to say I'm hoping I'm half done just because I want to get finished and move on to something else, but I also want this to be a little bit longer. But this is what I've got left in the ball. It's the Caron Cakes. Cherry Pop is the colorway. There you go. So look at that. I've just started, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I'm not half done yet, am I? That's good. So this will make a really nice long scarf. So I'm just going to keep plugging away on this. So I'm feeling pretty happy, even though, I mean, really all I got done was the dishcloth this week, but I don't know, one project done a week, I'm happy with that, even if it is a dishcloth. Okay, so let me show you what I'm going to start this week. I've got a new dishcloth. If I'm going to get one done every week there's going to be a new dishcloth start. So this is Knit Picks Dishy in Ash. And look, I still have a fair amount of this yarn left. And I checked the ball band, and yeah, there's 190 yards in here. So this is going a really long way because both of my dishcloths have got ash in them. So I got one full one. This I used doubled. And now I'm working on a third. I cast on 36 stitches with just a regular long tail cast on, and this is just going to be a one color dishcloth, and I'm going to use the granite stitch. The granite stitch is one of my favorite stitches. I've used it before for dishcloths, And I've also used it in my stepping stone scarf that I use in my Learn to Knit class. And also when I teach my Learn to Portuguese Knit class, because this is just, for brand new knitters, this is a perfect pattern because it is a row of knit, a row of purl, a row of knit two together all the way across, and then a row of knit front and back all the way across, so you increase those stitches. So it's great for brand new students who are learning to knit, and if you're learning how to Portuguese knit, that's good because then you get to practice your knit, purl, increase, and decrease. And it gives you a really, just a cute textured pattern. And with those decreases and increases, you can see where there's going to be, there's almost like a little eyelet row just from decreasing and increasing. So I'll write that out again in the drop box down below, but I'm hoping that this will finish this ball of yarn. On one hand, I'm really happy I'm going to get 3 dishcloths out of 1 ball of yarn, but when I'm stash busting, I want these balls to knit up really quick and get done with. But I'm definitely getting a lot out of this ball. I really like this color. I would definitely order. I shouldn't be talking about ordering yarn, should I? I'm supposed to be finishing yarn. But I would definitely get this color again. I like it. So, project number 1 for this week. When I initially started this New Start Monday videos last year, the idea was to have 1 start per week. And somehow, I seem to be having either 2 or 3. My next start is going to be using up some of my Patons Kroy, because after last week's video, one of the comments I received was saying, what? No Kroy? And if you follow us along on the Fiber Friends podcast, myself, Adrienne, and Caroline, you'll know that Caroline asked me to count my Kroy, and I did. And the number was a little staggering. So I have got a lot to knit. I could knit this whole entire year with Kroy and use, well, I would use a good chunk of it, but I have a lot. So you're right. I should be knitting with some Kroy. So look at this. I dug out 3 balls, and this is colorway Jumpin' Jacquard. Because I thought this colorway is it would work good for a man's sock, right? It's not too girly. It looks like a nice man's sock. So when I use Patons Kroy for men, because I cast on 72 stitches, and I will use a 2.25 needle. I'm hoping to find my little 9-inch circular and start this pair of socks on that needle, but I have to find it first. Anyways, 72 stitches, and I like to make a nice long leg for a man's sock. So just having 2 balls of Patons Kroy for a man's sock, most of the time I can't get a full pair out. So I always like to have a 3rd ball just to use that little extra. I could maybe get away if I did my heels and toes in contrasting color. I haven't tried that. But anyways, I've got 3 balls, so this will be a man sock for probably one of my uncles or one of my cousins for Christmas next year. So, Patons Kroy will be officially started sometime this week. Hopefully tonight when I get home from work. And I grabbed 2, again, more Patons, because you guys do know I love my Patons. This is Classic Wool. This is Mercury, and this is Aaron. These are 2 brand new balls I pulled off my shelf this morning, and when I tried to find the tails from inside, this Aaron ball, I got a huge chunk of the yarn, even though my friend Patty showed me if you try to put your fingers in the end and kind of wiggle, put them in the end and kind of twirl them around, lots of times you can find there's a tail in there. And a lot of times she's right. I find that tail, I pull it out, and it is the end, or pretty close to it. This time it didn't work. I tried really hard, but anyways, I still grabbed and got a big chunk of the ball. But anyways, that's all right. I just wrapped it around and I found my tail. So this is going to keep with Wildflower Wool's theme of brioche. This is going to be my 2-color brioche project. Last week was all about 1 color. This week we're moving on to 2 colors. So again, I think I'm just going to do a scarf similar to that. Yes, I think this one will just be plain again. Just a long skinny scarf. I have this idea of me wearing all these scarves, I guess. And the black and the white, I looked on in my stash and I was kind of deciding which 2 colors I wanted to go together. If I wanted something like 2 shades of green, a variegated and a plain. And I don't know, these 2 kind of like literally called to me off the shelf and like say, hey, knit me. So this is what I grabbed. So it's going to be kind of a charcoal and a white scarf. And I pulled out a 4mm needle. And again, I'm just going to cast on, how many stitches did I cast on here? I probably will just do it the same, I think. What did I put on here? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 26 stitches. Okay. I will probably do something similar to that, and I'm going to do a 2-color long tail cast on. So I thought I would just do that while I'm chatting to you. So when you do a 2-color long tail cast on, you don't have to pull out your big long tail of yarn, because what we're going to do, I've got my 2 strands. I'm just going to leave just a little bit, long enough that I've got a tail to weave in. I'm going to make a slip knot, and I'll put that on my needle. Now typically when I do a 2-color, sometimes I leave that on and call that my first stitch, sometimes I take it off. In this case, I'm going to slip it off and just pull it out, so I'm not going to count that. So here I have my 2 strands of yarn. I've got 1 color over my finger, 1 color over my thumb. And I always think of this as kind of a top finger and a bottom finger. So whatever's on the top finger, that's the color that's going to make the stitch on top of the needle. So I'm going to do a long tail, and now I'm going to twist them. Now my Mercury is on top, so that's going to make me a stitch on the needle. So I'm just going to alternate these, and I always twist them the same way. I always take my yarns and I twist them to the right. Had to think about that for a second. So if you ever are casting on and you get distracted, or you set it down and you don't know which yarn should go in which position, look at what's on your needle. The last stitch I did was white, so I know white was on my finger. So I know this stitch I have to make with the black on my finger. And I just keep twist, make a new stitch, twist, and make a new stitch. And that is giving me every other color on top, and it's giving me a nice little braided kind of 2-color braid on the bottom. So that's how I'm going to like to start my 2-color brioche. I'm going to carry on with the scarf. I'm going to find needles for my socks, and that's what I'm going to work on this week. Thank you so much, guys, for leaving me comments on last week's video. I liked hearing, not so much seeing, I imagined, I guess, in my mind what you guys were working on. But I know Audrey said she was working on brioche. Sandy, she had a lot of things on the needles, some socks, I think she said a cowl, and she was thinking about starting a sweater too. Let me see, I wrote down, because I knew I couldn't remember everybody, so I did jot down some names here. Jo, I knew Jo. Jo said she's going to do a dishcloth of the week. So Jo, we can knit our dishcloths together. So you'll have to leave me a comment again and let me know how you're doing. I'm going to try to keep up with one a week, but I'm pretty sure probably sometimes there'll be a week where I work on something more and I don't get my dishcloth done. But I guess that by the end of the month, as long as I have 4 done, or somewhere, as long as I get caught up, I will be happy. Oh, Donna Jean, you mentioned, because remember how I said this was poppy, this orange and white cotton I was knitting with, and I thought poppy seemed a little odd for orange. Donna Jean said she knit with this exact, not the exact, mine was brunette, and what was your sugar and cream or the lily, but you said you had an orange and white cotton, and it was called poppy too. And Asa left me a comment. Asa is my, what do I want to say, task manager. She is the wonderful woman who keeps me on track, or at least tries. And this year I'm really trying, working on stash and trying to get things finished. So she reminded me that just starting my stash doesn't actually count as knitting my stash because I need to finish it. So what I'm going to try to do, fingers crossed, hopefully, is do every Monday, get new things started, because you can't finish something if you don't have it started. But the last Friday of the month, I'm hoping to do another video, and that will be my Finish Friday video for the month that has just gone by. I'll pop in and show you what I have finished. So that's my plan. So guys, I hope you will leave me a comment, show me what or tell me what you're working on. You can leave comments for me on Instagram too if you want to show me your new starts over there. Yeah, and let me know what you're working on this week, especially if you're working on any brioche, or if you have any brioche questions, leave them in the comments below. All right, guys, happy knitting, and I will see you next Monday.